Okay, so today we're going to be doing a little bit of cropping and adjusting. The first thing I want to talk about is something called non-destructive editing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get rid of or duplicate the background layer so that we're not editing the original picture. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab the background layer and drag it down to the new layer icon in the bottom right hand corner. So now I have my original background, which is here, and I have my copy. So I'm going to call this sunset copy, because we always want to rename our layers. Never leave a layer just named layer or background or whatever. Alright, so I'm going to turn off my original. I can even rename that, right? I don't want to make a new layer. I just want to rename this. Maybe you can't rename the original. Okay, that's alright. So let's go back to our sunset. Remember, whatever layer you're clicked on is always going to be the layer that you're affecting. So I want to be on my sunset copy layer, right, in order to make changes. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to fix the colors because they're a little muted in this particular picture. And anytime you're going to use a picture, that's one of the first things you always want to do is you want to go up here to Image, Adjust, Levels. Okay, and we want to look at that histogram. Remember, the histogram shows us where the information is in the picture. So there's nothing super bright in this picture, which makes sense. It's a sunset picture. So we're gonna move the blue level to where the information starts. We're okay with the bottom of the blue level. The darker blues look fine to me. Okay, let's go to the green level. Same thing, we're gonna move the green level over a little bit. And then the red level, that looks pretty good too. Maybe a little bit of hair on the bottom. And then let's go to the RGB level. Okay. So one of the things we can do is make it a little more intensely darker, right? Because what's happening is the too much light is actually causing this picture to lose these really nice red and orange colors and the blue of the sky. Alright, so once we're done with all four of our adjustments, we're going to go ahead and click OK. Alright, so now let's look at cropping this picture. So one thing we already noticed is there's a little mistake here. Got a little finger in front of the lens. So there's a couple ways that you can crop a picture. First is we can just use the rectangular selection tool, right? And I can just start right here, and I can go down to the bottom like this, and I can select that part of the picture that I want to keep. And then I can just go up here to Image and then choose Crop. That's a pretty good looking picture now. We got rid of the ugly finger in the way, and we got a nice sunset there. We do have this palm tree over here on the side that's kind of just sticking in on the edge of the picture. So let's just go ahead and crop that out, right? It's a little distracting of an element. Okay, now that's pretty good. So this is one way that we could crop this picture. But let's go ahead and step us back a little bit in the history, right? Let's go back all the way back to after we finished the levels. Okay. So you saw how I did that, right? I just went to Windows, I turned on the history palette if it wasn't already turned on. right? And then brought it out so that we could see it. And then I stepped back to where we finished making the adjustments to the layers. The tool that we really ought to be using is called the cropping tool. Okay, so this is the cropping tool, the crop tool. Okay. And up here, there's a lot of different ways that you can use the cropping tool, right? You can crop it to a specific size. Like, for example, these are mostly sizes down here that you would use in making, say, backgrounds for computer screens. These are ratios that are typically used in photography, like 8x10 or 4x5s, 4x6s, 2x3s, or in video, like 16:9 or 5:7. Those are video ratios. Or you can even put in your own custom width and height and resolution. All right. Now, one of the cool things about the cropping tool is that it gives you this rule of thirds grid. One of the things about the rule of thirds is the rule of thirds tells us that we should try to put our image on the third lines, the most important parts of our image. So let's just go up here to the top and let's pull this down to below where that thumbprint is. Now, one of the things that we want to try to do is put our horizon, which is right here, either on this top line or on the bottom line, right? To try to do that. So we can put it here like that, right? Or we can grab the top one and put it there like that. I don't think we want to crop out that tree, so let's try to do it here with the bottom. Let's match the bottom up with the horizon line. Okay, now remember we want to get rid of this this palm tree. So let's crop in that palm tree. All right, and so now we have an opportunity to put this blue tint on this rule of thirds line. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't want to get rid of this orange tint. So let's keep it in. It doesn't have to be perfectly lined up. It just needs to be on the line in some manner. Right? That's actually pretty good. All right. So if you're happy with your crop, you can go ahead and hit the check mark. Right? There's some other things you can look at is the straightening. Right? We can hit that straighten. This is a pretty straight picture, so it's not gonna change anything. There's other grids like the golden ratio that you can choose from. Right, but we're going to go ahead and keep our rule of thirds grid right now. And then, so let's just go ahead and click the checkbox. Now that's a pretty pleasing looking picture. So this is what I want you to try to do is copy what I just did, right, with this particular picture. And go ahead and add it. And then you're gonna once you're done, I want you to save it as a PNG. So we're gonna come over here, File, Save As. I want you to name it with your name, right? And we're gonna call it Sunset. And then I want you to change this to a PNG. And then you'll hit Save. And then OK. Then I want you to upload that to the classroom file today as your first part of this assignment. The second part of this assignment is I'm going to have 3 more pictures, and I want you to crop them and do the levels, and I want you to get rid of distracting elements. I want you to fix the colors, right? And I want you to make them look basically better using the same method that we just used right here today.